in conflict and conditioned to court it would become each other's nemeses. 2 would be killed. 2 would make it to old age, and only one among them, Robert, would ever really force himself beyond those times and seek some reconciliation of the opposites. Locked in their corners, frozen in their political personas, the brothers' war almost became a world war, more than once, and it lives on as few other war stories ever have. As of 2003, a convincing argument could be made that there was no reason to add to the ocean of ink devoted to the Kennedy assassination. By that time, the conclusion that Lee Harvey Oswald committed the deed had long been sealed, except in the minds of those unfamiliar with the ballistics evidence, or those few who would never accept his guilt under any circumstances. But even for those who know that Oswald pulled the trigger, there still existed thorny questions within the story. The central questions, for the authors of this book at least, had always been, did Oswald commit the act for Castro, and did Castro or his agents play any role in the tragedy? The killer was well known for his support of the Castro Revolution, and Fidel himself, unbeknownst to the Warren Commission appointed to investigate the crime, had been the object of numerous murder plots orchestrated by the agents of Oswald's victim, John Kennedy. Who could have a stronger motive than Castro and his agents? They hated the Kennedys, and the feeling was mutual. Oswald had visited the Cuban and Soviet embassies in Mexico City shortly before he killed the president. There was impressive anecdotal evidence that a deeper, more ominous relationship with those consuls had resulted. But those routes to the truth had long been blocked, even to government insiders who were searching for it. Nonetheless, the notion that this murder was the result of Cuban blowback, the unintended consequence of a foreign policy decision, was much more than just an idle theory to those insiders. Indeed, it has been considered seriously by many of America's most informed government and law enforcement officials. From presidents and their aides to senior FBI and CIA officers, there has been a quietly voiced opinion that the hand of Fidel Castro may have touched this crime. Some claimed it as simple fact. None of the more popular conspiracy theories have this kind of support inside the D.C. Beltway, because none of those other theories have ever made believable connections between Oswald and his supposed clients, the mob, the CIA, oil magnates, Lyndon Johnson, etc. Kennedy assassination researchers disagree, often rabidly, on many aspects of the event. But there is consensus on one thing. There were huge and intentional gaps in the official investigations. For the authors, those gaps were at their widest on the topic of Oswald's possible Cuban motives, rumored since before the echoes of those 3 shots in Dealey Plaza had entirely receded. Yet, after the disinformed Warren Commission closed the case, no official agency, no deep-pocketed network felt compelled to spend serious money to look into it further, and few single authors could mount such an investment either. Their reasoning was understandable. Not only would such an undertaking be expensive, but, more important, there was no guarantee of success. The most that one might be able to obtain was far off-the-record testimony. Persuading foreign spies to go public is one of the most difficult tasks the journalist can face. Thus, the Cuban angle, always the most compelling, seemed certain to fall through the cracks of history. Meanwhile, the truth was being buried by other factors as well. Assassinations pose the same mysteries as ordinary homicides, but multiplied by the infinite exponents of political intrigue. In a democratic society, freedom of information includes the freedom to reach outrageous conclusions. Myths can become reality almost as easily as they do in highly controlled propaganda states. The murder of John Kennedy became the material of an entire generation's myths and legends. After Dallas, America's open culture became the seedbed for anti-government propaganda.